January 12th, 2021. Welcome to Simple Man Radio. It's Bobby. We got the entertainer Chris with me. We're going to talk about Pederson, the national championship. I even want to talk about Kyrie. So I know the Knicks fans will like me hearing me rant about Kyrie. And Eli Wortman's already in the chat saying word of the day, apologetic. So we'll get on the word of the day. Word of the day, we got a bite on Friday, Chris. Me and Danny did.
What was the word?
I think the word of the day was shower. And then I don't know if you watched yesterday's episode. Me and Danny started messing with the girl, the reporter who was going after Steve Cohen for possibly having a Parler account.
I didn't see. I did pop in for your Friday one a bit. You guys were talking about the Mets, so that was cool. But,
did you see us? Did you see just the reporter going at Steve Cohen the other day about like following Parler on Twitter?
I did not.
You didn't see that? Wow,
No,
I'm a better Mets fan than you are.
No, I kind of, unless I'm tweeting on Twitter, I don't really surf Twitter that much. I go in there, I tweet, and then I conversate with the people who respond back. But yeah,
I envy that. I really do. I really do envy that. Because Twitter can annoy me. Like, okay, here's something. We'll talk about Giants fans while I look up the word apologetic. Did I spell it right? Nope. Jetic, not Jetic.
Copy and paste.
Like last night. So Devontae Smith is playing really. I guess let's kick it off into the national championship game. Yeah. Devontae Smith is playing really well. And then I just see on Twitter, like, this is why we should have lost more games and done. And it's like, you guys have annoyed me for the national championship. So a lot of times I just have to like just turn off Twitter, like during those big games or something, because like I know no matter like if Taylor Heineke plays well for the Washington, we're going to talk about how he showed more fire than Daniel, like just stupid stuff all the time. So that's why I hate being on Twitter all the time.
Yeah, well, it's Twitter's for passionate fans. It's for reactionary fans. That you get a lot of those on Twitter.
Yeah,
you get people that they live by the moment. They don't think long term. And that's what that was. Then you got Justin Tuck tweeting out, "Oh, we got to trade up for this guy."
Yeah,
so on and so forth. And listen, the guy's a tremendous talent. The guy's incredible. He won the Heisman Trophy for a reason. He had 215 yards in the first half after sustaining an injury, but yeah, he's great, but at the end of the day, I'm glad that we won. I think it built up chemistry. I think it helps this team for the future. And I'm never going to be for tanking, especially for a wide receiver. There's a number of very good weapons in this draft. Whether we get Jalen Waddle, if we want to pick him at 11, we could take Pitts, the tight end. There's weapons that the Giants are going to be able to potentially take at 11. I'm not going to get bent out of shape that we miss out on a wide receiver that may go top 3 or 5 because of his performance in the Senior Bowl. And there's still a long way to go. You're talking about going to the Senior Bowl. You've got the Combine. Things change. At this point last year, everyone said Andrew Thomas was going to be a top 2-3 pick. Then he dropped all the way to the back end of the first round, and then he ends up going 4th overall to the New York Giants. So you don't know how the whole process is going to play out. But yeah, he had a great performance. There was a number of, obviously Mac Jones was terrific last night. There's a guy, he's got like a dad bod, but the guy somehow throws for like 500
I know, I
yards.
saw a picture of him. I was like, oh my gosh, that guy's the one throwing 9 touchdowns tonight.
But, Alabama just completely dominated, and I wasn't too surprised. I didn't think Ohio State was going to put up much of a fight.
Were you frustrated that they were playing Jalen Waddle? Because I really do hate the, like you said, reactionary, like, how dare they play this guy, like, kind of stuff. But I was, like, watching him warm up and then him catching that first pass, I was like, what the hell is he, like, why is he out there? I didn't understand why he was out there.
Yeah, I'm with you. You're only potentially hurting your draft stock if you get hurt in the game. Maybe you wanted to play in the championship game. Maybe that's maybe that was the agreement. But I agree with you. Really didn't make much sense to play Jalen Waddle. He was clearly limited. They didn't need him. So I'm with you. And I saw, by the way, speaking of Jalen Waddle, I don't surf Twitter that often, but somebody linked me to Justin's page. I think if somebody added me to Justin's video.
Oh my God.
He's a hell of a dancer. He's got some moves about Jalen Waddle. I enjoyed it.
I couldn't watch the whole video. I didn't watch the whole video. I was just like, I was watching the game with a couple people, and I was like, they hear me listening to this music and watching this video, like they may think I'm a weirdo. I mean, they already know I'm a weirdo, but I was like, so I didn't watch the whole video yet. But that's why Justin's great, and people seem to love it. What my problem with Justin is he said, I'll do it if I get 100 likes. I was like, Justin, you could just list, we joke about how some people's analysis is just listing players. And so every once in a while, we'll just list like 8 random players to see. And it's like those tweets always get like 100 to 200 likes.
Yeah.
And so I was like, dude, he should have put the bar at 1,000. At 100, he got that in like 5 minutes.
He might as well have just danced.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, because I saw it within like a minute of the tweet, and I was like, you might as well just make the video now. Like, this is no challenge at all for Twitter. He should have made it 1,000.
Say, maybe do the followers thing. I got 3,000 followers. If I get up to 3,200, I'll do the.
I know.
The dance. Make it a little bit more challenging.
That's someone asked me what it'd take for me to do. I was like, if you get me to 10,000 followers by the end of the night.
What do you got now?
Like 9. Like I just hit 9,000, so I knew it wasn't going to happen. I put it at a number that I knew when it happened because I don't want to do it. Even if I hit 10,000, I may have just wussed out.
I see Sabrina pop that she said the word of the day should be grat. That's a inside joke on my channel the other day, and you get trolls on your channel too, I'm sure. I was live streaming one of the games, and one of the guys he said he meant to use the word great, and he spelt it grat, and in the same sentence he called me a moron. So then the whole chat picked on him for about 20 minutes.
I love those. All right, so we're gonna do 2 words of the day. We're gonna now. This is scary because we end up on foreign Twitter on this. So here we got one. Ni Tony Grat Musi Mikmek, and it's Polish. No, it's not a shit. Trash must have moss. I still don't know what that means. I'm just gonna be like, dude, shut up already. You Polish sausage. That's what I'll say.
I like that. That's good.
You're allowed to make fun of Polish people, right? They're in the group you're allowed to make fun of. All right. Yeah. So Devontae Smith, it goes without being said. He is unreal. Like, watching him's unreal. I get that he's not big and stuff, but that guy, like, putting up those numbers, 12 catches, 215 yards, 3 touchdowns in the first half, it's nothing to look at and just be like, oh, that's the Alabama offense. Like, that's real deal. And it's crazy this guy was like the 4th guy last year with Waddle, Judy, and Ruggs. Like, and I guess that speaks more to Nick Saban. Is last year it looked like Nick Saban, like the dynasty was falling off. They didn't make the playoff. LSU beat them. They just looked like a beatable team. So, and all things come to an end. Like, eventually this Nick Saban Alabama era will end, like everything did, like USC did. But compared to every other college dynasty, this to me is the best one by far. Like, and I don't think it's anywhere close. You could look at any college football like dynasty run, and I don't think any even close to what Nick Saban's done in Alabama.
Yeah, it's almost like not on the same level because it's been since I've been alive, but it's almost like Mike Krzyzewski with Duke, where it's just every year Alabama's going to be one of the same thing with Duke. Every year Duke's going to the Final Four. They're going to be a top 5-6 team in the country in college basketball. It's the same thing with Alabama. And now it's been, how long has it been with Alabama now? 15 years maybe?
12, because the first championship was in 2010, but the 2009 season. So we're in 21, so 11 years. And then he won one with LSU, a few years before too.
Yeah. And the funniest thing about all that is Saban and Alabama never become a powerhouse if it isn't for Drew Brees not going to Miami. Saban was the head coach for the Miami Dolphins, and I forgot what happened. I think they had a trade, and it fell through, whatever it was. But if Drew Brees ends up with the Miami Dolphins, Saban's probably still coaching in the NFL.
Yeah, and I thought Saban that first year with Miami, I think they either went 7-9 or 9-7 with not a good squad, and you felt good. Then they get Dante Culpepper, and that year doesn't go well, and then obviously he leaves for Alabama.
Yeah.
Which, he goes from possibly being a good NFL head coach to the greatest college coach of all time. Like, I'm sure he's fine with that. And he was showing some emotion last night too, which is you haven't seen from him. Like, he was crying. Like, you usually don't see that from him, even when they've won their championship. So, that was pretty cool. What player besides Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle on those teams are you like, I want him on the Giants?
I told you before we went live, and I actually tweeted about it last night. The one, and I'm an offensive line guy like you. I believe strongly in building in the trenches. And Deontay Brown, he's a interior lineman for Alabama.
He's a mountain.
The guard. Guy's a monster. And I look at our guards, and a lot of people, you know how it works, Bobby. If you say anything critical about a player on the team, people come at you. And yesterday, I posted my, just for fun, I was bored, and I wanted to kind of make a joke out of it. So at the end, I gave Evan Ingram a Z-, but I was giving my player grades for the year. And Lemieux, I gave a D+, and a lot of people came at me for that. But I said, listen, the guy was horrible in pass protection. And right now, I look at our guards, Bobby, and if Zeitler goes, which we don't know if he's going to or not, but he's making a lot of money, and maybe they could stretch out the contract to try to make it fit in the cap, whatever it may be. But if Zeitler goes, I don't trust our guards going forward with Hernandez and Lemieux, and hopefully they get better. But I look at a guy like Brown, and if you're going to move on from Zeitler, I think you need to at least address the guard position in the draft if you don't do it in free agency. So he was a guy I had my eyes on and a guy that I'm interested in potentially in the draft.
I want him to go to the Jets and play next to Mekhi Becton.
Oof.
I just want to see that. Like, I want to watch that I want to see those two guys playing football next to each other. Like that. That's what I want. So, but yeah, I'm with you. I wouldn't be opposed to taking a guard. And here's something, because everyone knows I love Nick Gates. I was on the Nick, all off season. I was campaigning for Nick Gates to start as center. Josh Myers, the Ohio State center. I like him a lot, dude. He's a good player. And here's a take I have. I wouldn't be opposed to drafting a center. And you talked about we may need a guard. Push Nick Gates out.
Gates to the guard. Yeah,
he would be a great guard. Like, he was good when he played there last year.
That's his position initially.
Nick Gates has played good at every position on this line. Like, he was really good when he played right tackle last year. He was really good when he played guard, and then this year, obviously, as a center. So I don't know where his head would be on that, switching positions. And part of you just wants to be like, hey, we got center figured out. Don't mess with it. But I like, if they did that, I wouldn't be opposed to it. So
what round? I don't even know. Where is he being mocked? Second round?
I don't even know. I haven't even got into it. I would assume. I don't know. He's going to be at the Senior Bowl in 2 weeks, though. So I was watching him before the game and then watching him during the game, and I was like, oh, I kind of like this guy.
The more I think about it, the more I think that the Giants will address the offensive line no later than round 3 in this year's draft. I could be wrong, but I still think it's a need. I mean, I look around this offensive line. We still need depth pieces. I'm still not completely sold on a lot of the guys on the offensive line. They need to continue to address the offensive line. I don't think we're going to line in the first, but I think it will be a need no later than round 3. I think you'll see an offensive lineman selected, whether it be a guard, whether it be a tackle, or center. You freeze there, Bobby?
No, I'm looking at this Josh Myers trying to figure out where he's going. I don't think he's a day one guy.
Let me take a look. Josh Myers mock draft. I thought Bobby froze, but he's
Here's a mock draft. The mock drafts usually have a decent idea. Chiefs mock draft. Let's see. Oh, see, they haven't taken him at 32, the first pick, the first round, so never mind.
So the Giants would get, if they were going to take him, would take him early second round.
And like I said, I literally just started watching, like, yesterday kicked off my draft coverage, or my preparation for draft coverage. So I may watch 3 more centers this next week and be like, forget Josh Myers. I want these guys.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Doug Pederson, though, because I'm kind of fired up by this. I think what the Philly did was a scumbag move. That was a scumbag organizational move, what they did to Doug Pederson. I know this year went really bad. I know. And I know his job is to really get the QB going and Carson Wentz looked broken the year. I get that. But they've went to the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years. They won a Super Bowl less than 3 years ago. The Philadelphia Eagles were winning a Super Bowl with Doug Pederson as coach. And spare me that was Frank Reich. Doug Pederson was the head coach. I'm sure, assistants should get a lot of credit, but Doug Pederson was the head coach. He showed that with the right staff, which every coach needs, that he can be a Super Bowl winning coach. That was less than 3 years ago. And part of it is they said, Doug Pederson was tired of being told what to do. And I do think that's more on Pederson than ownership, because he screwed himself. Like that Week 17 decision to tank, that was the internet. I'm reading a comment that said internet. That was ownership's decision. The issue is you could set a standard of like, hey, I'm not doing that. Like Joe Judge has done. He's like, I will never do that. So ownership can never come to him and tell him to tank and try and lose this game. So I do put that on Doug Pederson. But part of it also is like his relationship with Carson Wentz is bad. They screwed up their relationship with Carson Wentz. They drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round, which already, like, just doing that muddies the water there. And then when Carson Wentz was struggling, like, they forced him to go to Jalen Hurts. Doug Pederson did not want to start Jalen Hurts. You could tell it in the way he talked, like, the usage of him, like, oh, here, we're going to use Jalen Hurts. We're going to put him out 2 snaps and do a read option. Doug Pederson did not want to play Jalen Hurts. They screwed that up for a guy who's put up results for the Philadelphia Eagles. They've won the division 2 out of the last 3 years, made the playoffs 3 out of the last 4, and won a Super Bowl. I get this year was horrendous, and they're in trouble going forward, so you might need a fresh start. So it's not just the idea. It's not the fact that they moved off Pederson. It's just the way Philly did it. Like, that is a scumbag organization, and the GM should be gone. All these moves are on the GM. So the fact that you're keeping the GM and moving on from the head coach, it honestly reminds me of the Giants moving on from Coughlin and keeping Jerry Reese.
Yeah, Howie Roseman's a horrible GM. I've said it all along. Yes, he's got to get credit for the Super Bowl, but he's backcoated contract after contract after contract. I am not a fan of Pederson. I get that he won a Super Bowl. He deserves credit for that. And I was surprised that they moved on from him because, Bobby, for the simple reason, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, ownership had to give Pederson the go-ahead to do what he did. Like, he didn't just do that. He had to, like, any coach in their right mind doesn't do that just to do that, right? His job is to win football games. So unless I could be wrong, but I would think Pederson talked to ownership and they said, yeah, go ahead, rest the players. We know that this game doesn't mean anything, so on and so forth. So if that's the case, ownership basically gave him the go-ahead to tank the last game so they could help improve the situation for the incoming coach. And if that's the case, that's screwed up. Or Pederson's just an idiot and he did it on his own. But I'm with you. If you're going to fire Pederson, you fire Roseman too. Roseman is a big reason why the Eagles are where they are. He has backloaded so many contracts. He's drafted horribly. You pointed out the quarterback pick this year with Jalen Hurts. I think that really screwed with Carson Wentz. And some of that speaks to Wentz. Sometimes, and sometimes you find out the mental fortitude of quarterbacks when you put them in a situation like that. But regardless, yeah, I'm completely with you. I think Howie Roseman's done a horrible job there the last 3 years in terms of drafting, in terms of the way that he's handled the cap. And I think the Eagles are in a really bad spot. And I think another thing that a lot of Eagles fans may not be considering that are happy with this move, which I personally think Pederson's a bad head coach at this point in time. I watch Eagles games.
I'm not. This isn't for me. It's not defending Pederson. It's more of like they set him up for this too, and it's like it. I feel like he shouldn't be the main scapegoat for everything,
And the thing is, for the people that are happy, if you're an Eagles fan, that you fired Pederson, I ask myself, Bobby, what head coach wants to take this job? Like, you look around this team right now, they got no cap space. They've got a quarterback making $33, $34 million whose confidence is shot. They have aging veterans. It is not the most attractive destination. So much like the 2018 Giants, I don't think you're getting your pick of the litter. And I think that's the situation. And if you fire Roseman, it's the same thing. What GM's going to want to step in and take that job right now? So it's a really messy situation for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, and I'm very happy about it too, though. I don't want this to be me mad at the Eagles. I'm very happy with the Eagles right now because they're imploding. So
yes.
I'm very happy about all that. I don't want that to get to it. But Pederson, like you said, I don't think Pederson's I don't think he's a horrible coach. I think this year was horrible. But I like if I were an Eagles fan, I feel like I would have more leniency.
Well, he won a Super Bowl. I get that.
Like, I get it's like, oh, well, he needs, like, the staff, the OC, blah, blah. It's like, well, all right, let's try and get the right guys in there then, and see what we can do.
The problem with me with Pederson, he's too analytically driven. Like, like his fourth down decision making, he goes for 2-point conversions when it doesn't make sense. We saw it against the Giants. That's my problem with Pederson more so than anything else.
And I think Pederson is probably happy to move on because he set a standard of letting, the analytics department and the ownership tell him what to do. And, that's what led to the Week 17 tanking and stuff. So, I do think that, he set that standard, and that's where it's on Doug Pederson. It's like he set a standard of, I can be told what to do. And we said, apparently the reports were that he was just tired of that. He was tired of that. So, I do think Doug Pederson is looking for a fresh start to where it's like, all right, if I do get another round at this, which he probably will, if he goes somewhere and has a good year as an OC, someone else.
He might get a head coaching job right now. Rumors are the Jets are interested in him.
That could happen. So, but I do think I think he's a guy who will have learned from his mistakes and realize what he needs to do going forward. So
Yeah, we'll see.
What do the Eagles do though? Like,
well, that's the thing. Like I said, I mean, obviously you could say, yeah, let's get Eric Bieniemy. Let's get this guy. Let's get that, whoever the hot coach is right now. But I don't think the top coaches are going to go there. I mean, I look around. I'm not just saying this. Obviously, the Eagles have a better team right now. I look at the Jets' job. I think it's a much better job than the Eagles' job right now.
It is.
The Jets have the second overall pick. They have the most cap space in football as opposed to the least. They've got a plethora of first-round picks after trading Jamal Adams. And that's just one example. There's several other coaching jobs that are probably a lot more attractive right now than the Eagles. So I don't think they're going to get the top choice. And if I'm the Eagles, I blow it up. I blow it up right now. But the problem is it's going to be hard to blow it up because of the cap situation. But I bring in a fresh, new, similar to what the Giants did. I think outside the box, I bring in a young, innovative mind as the head coach, a guy that maybe not a lot of people are looking at. I take a shot. I swing for the fences. I get rid of Roseman, and I start over. I start trying to trade away any veteran that I can to get future draft capital. That's the appropriate move for the Philadelphia Eagles. The thing I'd worry about if I was an Eagles fan is if Roseman stays, Bobby, you know just like I do, just like Reese did when he stayed on, he's going to try to do everything he possibly can to try to keep this thing afloat when he probably shouldn't. Like, at this point, you need to start over, in my opinion. I don't think that you could try to do little things here to try to keep this team somewhat competitive. I think the Eagles are in a downward spiral, and they're better off getting to it as quick as possible so they could start the rebuild.
Yeah, I agree. I think Eric Bieniemy is actually a reasonable one. I think Eric Bieniemy is more of a media love child than he is around the league. I think around the league, they're like, the guy's never called plays. He's a running back.
That's the thing. And I'm not saying Bieniemy doesn't deserve a job. I get it. He's been through the cycle of interviews for 2 or 3 years. Last year when the Giants were going through the coaching search, Bobby, I didn't want Bieniemy. And it had nothing to do with the color of his skin, which is
and people make it out to be.
Which is what the media makes it out to be. The guy coached under Andy Reid, the smartest offensive mind in all of football. He doesn't call the plays. He translates the plays to the quarterback, and he's known as a good offensive guy, and I hope he gets a job. But I'm with you. There's a reason why teams have passed up on him, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact he doesn't call the plays for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, and he's not people value the QB coach role more. Like Mike Kafka has not a better chance, but he's like the QB coach for Chiefs. He has a chance. It's the QB coach thing. It's like we want to get a QB in here.
Yeah.
So I really do think that's what hurts Bieniemy. I don't, like you said, I don't think it's some big conspiracy of he's black, we don't want him. I really do think it's like, hey, he's never called plays, and you look at, a lot of people don't like Pederson. I give him a little more leniency. And Matt Nagy, who are the last two guys to come from the Chiefs after not calling plays, and it hasn't been great for either of those. That being said, I think he's not going to the Texans because they're not even interviewing. I mean, from that Deshaun Watson fallout. The Jags are essentially going to get Urban Meyer. I don't see him going to I think he could end up with the Eagles. I think that's where the Eagles could land up, and him being like, I just want to get my chance.
How about the Jets?
I think the Jets are going to go Salah. We're bringing him in for a second interview today, which a lot of times
I'm surprised by that.
I think Robert Salah from, I haven't done a ton of research on him, but the vibe I get from him is he is like a leader of men, take control type of thing. And I think that's what the Jets want. Is we want somebody who is going to, I know this word gets overused, but set a culture where Adam Gase is like, oh, we just like him as an offensive coordinator and everybody hates him.
Yeah, no, I liked Robert Salah last year. The Giants didn't interview him, but he was a guy that a lot of people were talking about because of obviously the 49ers defense. They made the Super Bowl. He was a rah-rah guy, in-your-face guy. A lot of Giants fans were interested in him. But I look at the Jets, and I would have thought, and obviously that may not be the case here. You're drafting a young quarterback, more than likely. Maybe they stick with Darnold. I'm not ruling it out. But I would have thought they would have went more offensively driven with their head coach. So I'm a little bit surprised by that with Robert Salah if they go that route. I'm not saying it's the wrong decision.
Yeah, it's been slow. I mean, we're over a week in now. We haven't, and even teams like the Texans and the Lions and the Falcons who have had their openings open for a long time, we haven't heard anything. Really, the only one we know is Urban Meyer to the Jags, even though it's not official. So I mean, you got the Jets, the Chargers, Falcons, Texans, Lions, Jags, and then obviously the Eagles now. So 7 openings.
Last year there was only 5. There's a lot of openings this year.
Yeah, seven. I mean, a quarter of the league basically every year gets axed. It's a head coaching. And that's why I know people hate the idea of retreads. I don't hate like getting a guy who's done it before, because it's like a lot of times it really does have to do with the players and stuff. Hold on, I got somebody. All right, you take the stream for like 2 minutes.
I'll talk to the chat. What's going on, guys? Thank you guys for popping in. Yeah, we're talking about Pederson. We're going to be talking about Kyrie Irving in a second. Bobby might have a pizza delivery. Maybe he eats pizza a little too early. I don't know, but I'll talk to you guys. So if Pederson isn't hired as the head coach, do you think Pederson is an offensive coordinator for the Giants? No, I don't think that the Giants would bring him in to be an OC. I could be wrong. I do not think that. I think if the Giants are bringing in an outsider to be the OC, like I've expressed several times on my channel, I think that the Giants are going to look for somebody with ties to Judge. That's what Judge has done throughout the entire process since he's been here. That's my opinion. It's either going to be Kitchens, maybe you stay in house, or you bring in somebody that you trust that you've worked with before. And I've expressed some of the names before, but I do not think that we bring in Doug Pederson to be an offensive coordinator for the Giants.
This is what happens doing Stillman Radio during the day, because my office is, it doubles as another place. So I got you guy next door said you want to buy a tire. That's what he said. Big tire. I'm like, no, I don't want a tire.
Wait. You're in Florida, right?
Yeah.
You had a guy knock on your door, ask you if you want a tire?
Buy a tire, yeah. Well,
wait.
Me and my brother share an office. So he sells cars. He's never here though. So, but we rent out an office together, and or like an office space. So during the day, I'll get people like looking for him.
So do you have a flat tire or a low tire?
He just said that the guy next door said you might be looking to buy a tire. I think he's trying to buy, like, he needs money fast to get some crack or something.
Wow. Okay. I mean, that's interesting.
Anybody in the chat need a tire? Big tire? He said. So
I've never had anybody knock on my door asking me randomly if I'd like to buy a tire. He said,
this is what Simple Man is good. He said, guy next door said you might need a tire. And I said, a Taurus? Like, a Ford Taurus? No, tar. I was like, a car? No, tire, big tire, truck tire. I was like, no. He's like, it's a big one, big tire. I was like, no. I was like, I got enough stuff I don't use. Like, I don't need one big tire. Like we should have had him on the show. I should have been like, yes, actually come on the show. Come talk with this is Chris. He'll handle the logistics, and had him finish off the show.
Oh my God! What
I should have left the microphone on. That's my fault. Next time that happens, I will bring the mic to the door and try and get him on the show.
Wow! I wish I got to talk to that guy.
Want big tar? So I've been paying gifts with the episode every day. Today's gift will be a big tar. All right, let's talk about Kyrie. And there's actually new news on this since we started, that they're not expecting to play this week, because he was at a party, which it looked, I did some investigative, and I saw Worldwide Wob, who I think is kind of annoying. He did a video.
Wes, is it?
No, not Wes, not the Knicks guy. Like his name is he's like an NBA Twitter. It's like Worldwide Wob.
Oh, okay.
He changes. Yeah, I think he's kind of annoying, but he kind of like confirmed everything that Nets Twitter and Reddit was thinking. Kyrie not showing up. The first day he just didn't even get back to Steve Nash. Like Steve Nash reached out to him, was that asked questions before the game. Like, have you heard back from Kyrie? He's like, nope, haven't heard anything. And then he's just not gone. Like, this is going to be 4 games in a row, and now he's going to miss more this week. And nobody knows why. Like, all you have to do is tell why, and you'll get that sympathy from people. But now, someone who's supposed to be, mourning by what happened on Wednesday, which I get if you don't like that, but I don't feel like that should make you mourn. Like I know.
Bobby. You should have known who you were getting into bed with.
When you brought in
Kyrie Irving. This is a guy who thinks the earth is flat.
I know.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, you should have known what you were getting into when you got Kyrie Irving. This guy is a numbskull.
I know.
And I'm sorry for anybody listening who might believe the earth is flat. I'm sorry, I just don't.
I know a lot of people. Not a lot. I know a handful of people who do think the earth is flat.
You travel in interesting circles, Bobby.
It's Florida. That's what Florida is.
Now, is that the same guy that was trying to sell you a Torah? Is he one of the flat earthers?
If he comes back, I will ask him, like, do you think the earth is flat? Which is how those people start. Like, once someone thinks the earth is flat, they won't leave you alone until you, like, say the earth is flat.
Yeah.
And the issue is they know way more about what they're talking about than what you do. So they'll hit you with all this stuff.
Because I wouldn't even think to look into that because I know it's not.
And that's what happens. You get stuck, and you're just like, dude, I don't think so. That's what your answer is. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think they're all lying about that. And then they'll hit you with more and more. And it's like, at some point, and you just have to tell them, like, dude, you're never going to convince me. So I think I'm a sheeple or whatever, but you're never going to convince me. I'll finally be put in the blind, sheeple. If as long as you'll leave me alone, I will be in that category for you. So with Kyrie, I know that's who he is. And I still want him on my team. This isn't like I wish we didn't get Kyrie. Like, I know that once playoffs come around, he gives us there's no, unless they trade him straight up for a Harden or something, which I would have done before the year, to be honest.
Right.
Unless they're able to do something like that, he gives us the best chance to win a championship with Kevin Durant. It is a better situation than the Celtics because Kevin Durant is there. And he's got kind of, it's been built around that, where Steve Nash isn't going to go out of his way to trash him or take other guys' sides. But it's just so frustrating. And I know this is what we signed up for when we got Kyrie. And I know, Knicks fans and Celtics fans are having the times of their life watching this. And I don't blame you. I'd be doing the same thing if I'm not
having the time of my life. The Knicks are a whole nother story.
I know. It's a good thing the Knicks didn't win last night, and the national championship was going on, or else this would be this would be in my mentions way more. And then every time I tweet about it, I get the same 5 Celtics fans who are Giants fans in my mentions being like, this is what you get. There's even one account that he was created in December. He has 2 tweets, no following, no followers. He has 2 tweets, and they're both replies to me talking about Kyrie. So it's somebody that I know whom I'm probably friendly with who hates Kyrie who's doing that. I don't know if it's somebody in John Boy Media or somebody else I've made friends with online, but it's somebody I know messing with me. So shout out to you. I hope you're a listener to Man Radio. I actually respect the move. It's just annoying. Like, I don't need to give some deep...
You're absolutely right. It's and I understand, obviously. I took a day off YouTube. I said I don't feel like coming on YouTube the day that happened. So I knew people were going to want to talk about it. I was like, I need a day off. I don't want to get into that. So I understand being distraught from it for a day, maybe 2, whatever. But that's unprofessional. You're getting paid millions of dollars to be an NBA basketball player. If that's the reason why he's sitting out now for 4 games and it's going to be longer, that's unacceptable. I'm sorry. It just is. Now, if you want to use your platform, I know a lot of people don't like athletes to, talk politically, and I get that. But I wouldn't kill him for that. Like, if he wants to use his platform to bring awareness to why he thinks that is such, I get that.
Go for it.
Go for it. But to completely sit out, now for probably a tenth of the schedule, he's probably going to miss 7 or 8 games in a 72-game season. I think it's 72 this year instead of 82.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable. So I'm with you, but I'm not surprised. I mean, that's who Kyrie is.
Yeah, and I even understand like some of Kyrie's bigger points of like, it's the man in the arena. Like, it's weird that you have millions of people watching you and stuff. But that's why you get paid $20 million a year, or 30. Like, that's why you get paid that much, is because you kind of have to deal with that pressure. So if Kyrie retired today, I wouldn't be mad at him. If Kyrie retired, and I'm not saying he'd retire because of this, but if Kyrie's like, I don't want to be in basketball, I don't want to be in the public spotlight, I just want to live my life, I would not be mad at Kyrie. I wouldn't. It would suck as a Nets fan because it makes us not, makes us worse. But like on just a level, it's like I understand that. I respect that. Like I could see myself being in the same situation and being like, I'm just tired of everything that comes along with this. But guess what? You're not doing that. You're getting paid $30 million a year. This is part of the job. It's being a big boy. And that's what Kyrie is just, and everyone says, oh, he's out to get him, and the media takes his stuff out of context. They do. But Kyrie brings this upon himself. There's a reason that this happens to Kyrie and not everybody else, because it's stuff like that.
And not that I'm comparing the two, but it's like Odell. It was the same thing. People said people in the media were out to get Odell, but Odell brought a lot of it on himself.
It's like, will the media drive the knife a little further in? Yes. Yeah. But you're the one who put the knife there. And that's like, I agree with you. That's the same thing that happened with Odell and Kyrie. And at least Odell didn't just randomly not show up to games and didn't tell anybody why.
Not on the same level. Not on the same level.
It's just frustrating.
I understand. I'd be frustrated too if he was a Knick having to deal with that. But and my Knicks, man, God, I don't know what's going on with them right now. They're 5-6, but I'm starting to lean in a way, and I always try to think optimistically, Bobby. You know that with my teams. In a way, I think it's a good thing because maybe now the Knicks stay according to the plan. You don't fall in love with Julius Randle. You don't say to yourself, he's got to be a part of the future. I thought going into the year that they should trade Julius Randle. Hopefully Randle keeps playing well. Maybe the Knicks are out of it, and now maybe you get a ton for him at the trade deadline, and you continue to bring in an insurgence of young talent via the draft.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a real come down from, a week ago on this show when it was like Knicks are going to the Super Bowl. They're going to win,
They're not going to the Super Bowl. They were never going to the Super Bowl unless they get tickets. But no, the Knicks. It is what it is. I expected this. You expect ups and downs from a young team with Thibodeau, and hopefully they rebound and hopefully they give us at least an entertaining year. But I mean, to be fair, Bobby, and I'm never for tanking ever. I'm always rooting for my team to win. In the NBA, it's obviously more beneficial to get high draft picks because one player can make that big of a difference.
Yeah.
It may be in the Knicks' best long-term interest to not make the playoffs this year and just continue to grow and build and get these young players better. RJ Barrett's got to get much better. The guy's too up and down. He's too hit or miss. He's been disappointing for me these last couple of games.
Yeah, and we talked about it last year. I think RJ, his ceiling isn't superstar, but I think his ceiling is like, making a couple All-Star games be, like a key number 2, number 3 on a team a championship.
I'm trying to
team.
think who's like that. Like
I think he's not. No, he's a totally different player than Brandon Ingram, but I think that like level is where he can get. Where he's not Brandon like playing style. They don't even play the same position, but I think like just at that I think that's where RJ Barrett's level could be. Where he'll make a couple All-Star games, he'll be a good player. But I just don't think he's ever going to be like hit that like superstar level,
Yeah, I hope you're wrong, but you very well may be right. But yeah, like you said, he may be that. Yeah, he may be that guy that makes a couple. Maybe like not that they're similar at all, but like Julius Randle, maybe hopefully a little bit better. But Randle's kind of a notch below being an all-star. Yeah, but hopefully matures into more than that. We were hoping for more than that as Knicks fans when we drafted him.
Do you guys have your eyes on somebody in this? Is there somebody in this year's draft that's like because last year's was a weak draft. The year before obviously was Zion and Ja Morant were like the two big names.
Yeah, I haven't done a ton of research into this year's draft. I honestly don't think the Knicks will be picking high enough to be getting a top 3.
Win the lottery.
You never know with the new NBA lottery. You never know, and hopefully I haven't looked. Let me take a quick look. Actually, I haven't looked at the standings in the West, but obviously we have the first round pick of Dallas this year, so I'm hoping that they could
miss off at the playoffs. I could see that happening.
Yeah,
I think losing Seth Curry was kind of bigger than they might have realized, and they just suck so bad on defense.
Yeah, I love Luka Doncic, but I'm hoping this year right now they're the 7th seed, so they probably won't miss it. But I got my fingers crossed that we get 2 lottery picks this year.
Yeah, I love Luka too. I love the Mavs. It's just they're a flawed. They're just a flawed team. All right, do we want to end the show? We're about to hit 40 minutes. Let's check up on word of the day.
Word of the day. What's the word of the day? I forgot.
One was grot, and then the other one was apology.
Apology.
Nope. No bites.
Damn it.
Dude, shut up already.
What happened?
We've only gotten one. No, I was reading the tweet, not telling you to shut up.
Oh.
So we've only gotten one bite in 7 days. So follow the Stillman Radio Twitter account.
Whatever happened to the clown guy? Does he still bother you?
He blocked me. That's something I wanted to say for you. That was something we want to talk to you about. He blocked me, and you want to know why? This guy replied to me all the time. Never would block me. One night I was just like, I'm just going to reply to him with all the clown emojis, and that blocked him. So maybe I'm trying to get into his head is that he views the clown thing as such an insult. Like I could say all the things in the world about him, and he uses the clown emoji, just replies to the clown emoji. That when I did it, that he really was like, that's the most insulting thing you can do to someone is the clown emoji, because he blocked me. Like And I was kind of sad. Like I know, like I liked him. Like he was my favorite hater. It was like because he used to tweet at me about like undrafted free agents. Like he loved me. He would be like, "What do you think of Dominique Ross versus Christian Anguilla? Like what do you like? Do you think the Giants should do this?" And then during the beginning of the season, I can't remember what it was, but he was tweeting me about one thing over and over again. I wasn't responding, and then finally I was like, "Dude, shut up! You are so annoying." And then since then on, it was just clown emoji. So I will miss him.
Yeah, he doesn't like me either. He was following me. I know. I don't know if he still does, but he doesn't like me either. I don't know why. I must have said something that pissed him off.
He's just kind of a dick. Like that's what he is.
That is what it is. You get those.
I will always miss you, Big Blue 1312 or whatever it was.
Maybe he's listening right now.
I hope he is. Come on the show. I'll have you on the show. All right, that's an episode. Thank you, Chris. Make sure, if you're subscribed to his channel, if you're already not, I'm sure you are, go subscribe to his channel. He'll be back on Thursday. Tomorrow we've got snacks. And I'm sure he'll really dig in the knife more about Kyrie. So appreciate you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Stay simple.